Hello, everybody. Welcome again to Elevating Your Life with Paula Vail. Thank you for joining me today. And I have with us today, she has been on the show previously, and I just absolutely love her energy, her words, her sharing, and we just have to continue. So much more to say. I have with us today, Ashley Ahmadzai. She is an intuitive life coach, manifestation expert for high-performing entrepreneurs and professionals ready to elevate their lifestyle, income, and impact from mediocre to magical. She specializes in subtle energy medicine and clarity coaching to help women release the trauma, suppressed emotions, and limiting beliefs that keep them playing small in life and business. Today, we're going to be talking about her book, She is Magic, and this is the second edition. I just want to say welcome, Ashley. So happy to chat today.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I'm always so honored to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. I am honored. Well, let's start with anyone that maybe this is the first time they've seen you on the show. If you want to share any more of your background and possibly what brought you into creating this book and being a part of this.
Yeah, excellent question. And thank you so much for sharing that beautiful bio. Because yes, so intuitive life coach and manifestation expert. And who can say, for an expert in anything, but it is something that I am incredibly confident in because I've done it over and over and over again. And how it ties into this book is because I share a lot of my tips of how I manifested my dream home, how I manifested my husband, how I manifested, a huge financial income goal that felt so astronomical to me. I share all of those things in this book because manifestation is something that we're doing all the time. And manifestation, to kind of rewind, is the art of holding a thought in your mind long enough for it to come to fruition. Because the universal laws, the law of attraction, is one of many. It's not a suggestion, it's a law. So we're all just like gravity, right? If I pick up this essential oil and I drop it, like if I let go of it, it's going to drop because gravity is a law. You can't see it, you can't grab it, but it just is. That's the same thing with manifestation. And so there are tips and tools and techniques to really harness whatever it is that you desire. There can be a system that you can implement to make it come in faster, to be a little bit closer to what you actually desire. But aside from that, we're always manifesting, but do we want to do it recklessly or do we want to do it with intention? And so I kind of share some of those tips in this book.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And I love that, you share manifestation is not a desire or a maybe, it's a law.
Yeah, exactly.
So true.
It is, and we're doing it all the time. And it is, what I'm really passionate about is encouraging and empowering people to take radical responsibility for their life, for their choices, most importantly, their choices. And everybody has their own belief system, but what you believe about your reality is ultimately true. So to encourage people to be empowered in how they see and perceive what they believe about their reality, because what you think about, you bring about, and where your attention goes, your energy flows. So I just did a training this morning. I have a group, it's called the Mediocre to Magical Academy, and I was talking about money manifestation. And so if you spend a lot of time saying, I'm broke and things don't work out for me, then what you believe about your reality is ultimately true. And so it is. Yes. But if we choose a higher and a better thought while navigating the limiting beliefs, right? Like, let's say hello to those limiting beliefs, the ones that are making us feel small, making us feel like we can't. Let's say hello to them. We're not going to be afraid, but we're going to look at it in our hand. And we're going to say, what is the shape, the size, the origin? What does it represent? What is the lesson that it's here to teach us? And then once you evaluate all of that, say, hey, thanks for stopping by. Peace out. and then it's gone and we move through it. That is a choice. And when we get used to identifying blocks, the limiting beliefs, not being afraid of them, and then we learn how to release it, manifestation becomes easy because the abundance is out there waiting for you. We don't create abundance. We create blocks to the abundance. So let's release those blocks so we can receive those great waves that are available to us right now.
So would you say then a key is to not be afraid of those blocks and afraid of those challenges? Say, okay, I see you. I know you're there. Bye.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, absolutely. So I had a vision of, actually it's like of a butterfly, right? So if somebody believes that if a child is told that a butterfly, say it's like a 3-year-old, that butterflies are evil and they breathe fire and they eat children, then that child is the next time they see a butterfly, they're gonna run away because what they believe about that truth, right? Which is actually a neutral energy, the butterfly. We know, well, last time I checked, butterflies don't breathe fire and eat children, right? But if that child believes that to be true, then they're gonna have that response. But if some other child is told butterflies grant wishes, they make all of your dreams come true, they're going to have a radically different experience with that butterfly. So now that neutral energy can be seen as a limiting belief. Is the limiting belief going to breathe fire and eat children and make you feel small and on the floor? Or can we look at that limiting belief and say, hey, thank you for visiting. Thank you for showing me what I need to heal. Thank you for coming out for review. I see you. I honor you. I'm going to meet you exactly where you are. Let's move through this together. And when all is said and done, I thank you, I forgive you, I bless, and I release you. And it's gone.
I love that. So that tells me it is not what's in front of me and what I'm looking at. It's what I believe about what I'm looking at and the emotions I feel with that. Correct?
100%. And our thoughts, so this is another really valuable piece of information when it comes to manifestation, and that is your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and your energy. Those are all 4 very important pieces that need to be going in the same direction in order for you to manifest your desires in the way that you want. A funny story is I was like, I want a $20,000 month, 20K month, 20K month. And I was like, thought I was aligning my thoughts, my feelings, my actions with all of it. Another thing I was saying is the check is in the mail. The check is in the mail. So I'm like calling it in, right? Well, I got something in the mail, but it was a bill from the hospital for $26,000. And I was like, no, no, does the universe need hearing aids? And it was like, no, I'm not going to, put that on the universe. I needed to be more clear because I got what I wanted. It was just not exactly what I wanted, right? And so with that being said, there was one of these needed to be tweaked. My thoughts, feelings, actions, and energies, one of these was offline. So when all of them are going in the same direction, you're going to have more clarity in what it is that you're manifesting, and you're going to be more satisfied with it. So it's not a bill, but maybe cash.
Wow, I love that. I love that. What would you say is one of your strongest messages that you share in your book?
Yeah, in my book would be, and there's a lot here. There's a lot with it. I'm so grateful. This is my first time really being an author. I publish a lot of things like online on social media platforms, but this is my first time actually having it in a book. And so I poured so much of my heart into it. So there's a lot that's there. 2 things that are really coming up for me. One of them is belief. Belief is so important. And part of my story of when I was a single mom and that's how the chapter opens, of the shame that I felt, the embarrassment I felt, this life, I had this vision for my life of what it was going to be, and it was blossoming. And then I had to make a radical decision whether I was surprisingly pregnant. And do I pursue my very lucrative career as a flight attendant, traveling around the world, flying millionaires around the world, live in that life? Or do I have a child with a person that I barely knew. And so my life hinged on that choice. And then obviously, baby it was, I have my daughter, and everything that I had that was on such a high, it felt like it came crashing down with postpartum depression and just the sadness and the weight, and then being a single mom because it wasn't safe to be in the relationship that I was in. And that rock bottom moment where I felt like I lost everything, and including the belief in myself. And I started to feel like, why me? Why is this happening? And then I found a group of women who believed in me. They believed in me more than I had ever believed in myself, believed in me more than my family had ever believed in me, because there's a lot of trauma in that background too. And and I talk about this in the book too, about how they would look me in the eye and they would, give me a hug and hug me with their whole heart. And I was like, wow, I matter. What I say matters. When I say something, they respond as opposed to blowing me off. So what happened is I found these women who believed in me enough until I was strong enough to carry my own belief. And now that is what I do as just giving, as a clairvoyant and intuitive coach, is sharing that belief and that vision with other people. Because once we have that belief, everything in our life can change, because what we believe about a reality is ultimately true. So that's number one, is belief. Find people who believe in you. And if you don't have that belief in yourself, find someone else who believes in you, and you can carry it when you are strong enough to carry it, you're on your own. And the other one is go big and expect miracles always. And this is my tagline in a lot of my branding, because the world is limitless and miracles are available to you right now, and the universe is supporting your desires. But if we want those big things, we got to go big. We got to expect those miracles and do the work too, right? What do we need to heal? Think about our limiting beliefs. What needs to come up for review? What is it that we need to heal so we can flush it out, so we can operate and lean in, go big, and expect miracles from a healed space rather than operating from our wound? So that'd be the second big nugget there, is go big and expect miracles always.
I love that. Go big, because so many times, Ashley, we can say, well, if I could just have this, it'll be okay. If I can just get to that, it'll be okay. Go big is, I'm open to just fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And it's available to us. And something else is, when we look at other people and we see what they have, or we see what they are doing in their lives, we have an option to, let's identify, when we look at them, do we see them through eyes of love or through eyes of jealousy? Because those are two very different perspectives. And so if you see somebody else and it might trigger you and you're like, oh, I don't want to look at that, or cool, good for her, she has a rich husband, or whatever, we have those judgments, I would encourage people to shift that perspective. And rather than that jealousy or that frustration or that low vibrational energy, instead we can say, wow, thank you for showing me what is possible. Like, you are my brother, you are my sister. We are all humans. We all breathe the same air. It is an equal playing field. Permission to go big. Permission to look at other people that are doing, speaking, dreaming, up, living their life. And maybe it's something that you want and you desire. Say, thank you for showing me what is possible, because if you can do it, I can too.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Release the low vibration of jealousy or competition, and go into the celebrating what's possible and what's out there for you. I love that. And that's a huge difference in the scale. It really is, isn't it?
It is. And you'll notice people, I saw this post this morning. It was like, you can tell when somebody is really healed versus if somebody's really working through it, because of how they see the world. If you see the world through eyes of love, you're in that healed space. You don't have these blocks anymore that are weighing you down. You've faced them and you've moved through them. And so find those people too who are really operating from that loving space. And with that being said, everybody is going to have the balance. I do it too sometimes. I caught myself doing it the other day. So let's just normalize that too. We have a conscious choice and radical responsibility to heal our wounds, to notice the limiting beliefs, see why they're there. But at the same time, we can release them, but it might show up again, right? I was on social media and I saw somebody and I was like, she's perfect, and I didn't want to like her perfect picture. And I was like, wow, Ashley, okay. So what did I do? I was like, what are you here to teach me today? I need to release that. And then what I did is I liked her picture, and then I got on her DMs and left her a little voice message. Hey girl, you're looking so good. I want to let you know, like, I'm rooting for you from the front row. Keep up what you're doing. And I immediately just like dismissed and let go and released whatever that little block was, because again, we're all brothers and sisters. We're not here to compete or to compare. We're here to grow together.
Yes, yes. And that little message from you, my gosh, you know, what that may have done for her, you know, and that just putting that out there and that support of others, would you say, just generates more of the energy that we will get supported by others?
Oh yeah, when we want more for others, we then allow ourselves to receive more. So that's a huge part of it. If you're looking at people and you're noticing or things or experiences, whatever that is, and you have judgments come up, that is a very clear sign that there's a block, obviously, and we've talked about how to release that, but you're blocking your own abundance. Say, here's our heart chakra, and if we're trying to communicate with someone or something, but then we're like, I'll give my love to everybody, but not you. There's a block. So the universe is trying to give you some love too, but there's that block right there. So that's why it's very important to become conscious and aware of what is that. Look at it. Spiritual bypassing is when we're like, oh, high vibes only, and we have to stay positive. We're human, and that's part of ego, which is what we have. You know, we're always going to experience that. So I encourage people, like, look at it, like hold it in your hand, like, or in your mind's eye, and evaluate it so it has a fair chance to reveal the lesson it's meant to teach. And then you can let it go, but then you got this exchange, right? That's going freely between you and the universe. So yes, absolutely, Paula. It is when you want more for others, you allow and increase your ability to receive more for yourself. Same thing with money. Like if you go tip really well. Go and donate. Go give compliments to as many people as you can. Their hair, their jewelry, their voice, their car, the fact they're riding their bike while you're driving your car, or they took the stairs while you took the elevator. You say, good job, man. And when you're giving, the universe is like, wow, look at her. She's ready to receive right back.
Yes, yes. And personally, I've always believed when we give, when we have compassion and we give and we care, oh my gosh, we receive so much more in return because
Always.
the energy we put out, it comes back to us.
And the intention behind it is a really important thing to notice as well, because if the intention is, I'm going to do A, so that way then I will get this. Right? Like I'm going to behave really well, so maybe I will be treated a certain way. That intention isn't, like, it can work, but it's not the most authentic. And so when you get in the habit of being a good person, and when you get in the habit of loving for the sake of loving, forgiving for the sake of giving, because it makes you feel good, but you're not doing it for anybody else. Does that make sense? Like when you do that, it puts you in a higher vibration, because it's almost like we have something dangling over our head, or we dangle it over other people's head of like, I did this for you and you have to do it for me. And actually that's a really toxic relationship. That's something that in my inner circle, it is not allowed. There is nobody in my inner circle who would say like, you did this, and so now you owe me that. Like those words, you owe me. Like, I need to shower when I hear them, because it's this like ego driven, low vibrational experience that's not welcomed. And so that's kind of a personal thing, but from a universal perspective, we want to be able to give without that feeling of debt or owing or anything like that.
And yes, I so believe that. If you give just so that you can brag or say, yes, I did this, that's all ego-based. That's low vibration. You know, what is behind it? What's heartfelt means everything, I believe.
Yes. Beautiful.
Yes.
And also another tie-in too, and touching back with the book. So this is a collaboration of myself and then 15 other women from around the world. And so I know I specifically teach about manifestation, and we had talked about blocks and beliefs and all of these things. And this is like almost like a workbook in a way, in a sense, of other people's stories and how they have worked through limiting beliefs, how they have worked through toxic circles, how they have worked and like climbed themselves out of whatever hole that they were in and whatever journey that they took and aspired to in order to share their magic and to discover their magic. So a little plug there too.
I love it. I love it. Because we all have magic. We do, don't we?
Yeah.
And your book with sharing what so many of you have gone through and can share for others. Oh my gosh, the door that's going to open for the readers.
Absolutely. You know, there was a moment, especially when I was a single mom with my daughter, and the postpartum depression was so heavy and it was so dark and scary and lonely. And I didn't want to leave my house, and I didn't want to look at myself in the mirror. And I had this sweet baby who trusted me. And I was like, why? I don't know. Like, I don't know. And then I would see on TV, or I'd read in the personal growth books about these, like, they felt like giants, or even on social media, these giant people, you know, with big goals and big accomplishments. And it felt so far away. But what I've discovered, because now I get to be one of those people where I have thousands and thousands of people in my audience that I coach and train every day. And I've had people say comments like that to me in a nicer way. Not that I'm a giant, but like, we're so grateful for you, all of those things. And I didn't realize, I know I'm so grateful for it now, but everybody, no matter how much of a giant you feel they are, how big you feel they are far ahead of you, we've all had our rock bottom moments. Again, we all breathe the same air. Our bodies run, like we all have skin, you know, like we're just like spirits in this skin suit. And so when you read this book too, I feel like it bridges the gap between like, oh, I'm right here and they're over here, to like, hey, here's the roadmap of what I did to get to where I am. And that is impact. That is inspiration. And that is so what the world needs right now, because you have everything you need to succeed already within you. I'm like flailing about. I'm like, you have it within you. It's already there. That magic is already within you. Sometimes we just need to rediscover it and say, oh my gosh, there she is. Or reignite it. Oh my gosh, look at me go. But it's possible and it's there. And I know a beautiful tool for me has been either conferences and books and mentors.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Share with everyone how they can learn more about you and connect with you. Please do that.
Yeah. So Ashley Ahmadzai on all of those social media platforms, primarily Instagram and Facebook. I'm very active on there. Please send me a direct message. I love connecting with my audience. That is something that makes me really unique as a coach and as a mentor, is that I want to talk with you. I want to talk with you. I want to connect with you. I want to see how I can support you. I'm never going to be too busy for a conversation, but definitely get in my DMs there. You can also access any of my resources or find out what's new, if not on those social media platforms, on my website, which is www.ashleyahmadzai.com. And then I do have a free Facebook group where I do 2 live trainings a week and lots of other engaging, fun activities and giveaways. And it's called the Mediocre to Magical Academy on Facebook. And again, you can access all of that on my website, ashleyahmadzai.com.
Oh, Ashley, you are just so fantastic. And I just am so grateful for everything you're doing for so many people. With a few minutes left, what last thoughts do you want to leave with everyone today?
You're never stuck. There have been so many moments where those words would come out of my mouth of, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. And sometimes I would ask for help and people would just pat me on the head and say, oh, I don't know. Pray about it, honey. Just pray about it. And I was like, that made me so mad because I'm praying and I feel like nobody's listening and I feel stuck. So if you're in that space, or if you have been in that space, I get it. But just remember, there's always another way. And we just have to see this perspective a little bit differently. And that's where mentorship comes in. That's where personal growth comes in. And so I would be so delighted and so honored to connect and communicate with anybody who is like, Ashley, I'm feeling stuck and I can't see any way around it. And I know that Paula, you can always tune into her channels as well, because she brings the best of the best and lots of inspiration as well. And that's going to help you get unstuck, because it is a belief system. And what we need to do is we need to shift that belief so we're unavailable to feel that anymore. And then we're going to see a clear path of the next steps we're meant to take.
Oh, I love that. I love that, because really we have to let go of I'm stuck. And it is so easy to get in that, well, I'm stuck, I give up. But we can let go of that and we can get out of that, can't we?
Yes. And the struggle is not required for your success. The struggle is not required for your success. So yes, drop the stuck, drop the struggle, and choose right now, today, to take radical responsibility for your choices, for your limiting beliefs and how you handle them, right? For your next steps and the people that you reach out to, the people that you hang out with, right? Like the struggle is not, it's not part of the success. You have those choices to take those next steps, and we are here to help and support you.
Oh, Ashley, thank you so much for helping so many.
Thank you.
I am just so grateful to have met you. We were meant to connect.
In the most beautiful way, yes.
Support each other, support everyone out there. We do. Oh my gosh. Everyone, thank you for joining us. If you want to see the podcast, it's at patreon.com/Paula Vail. And to my radio audiences, thank you for joining us. Ashley, thank you for your beautiful words and your caring. It just means so much. And
Thank you.
beautiful messages that we can take with us throughout the day. Everyone have a fantastic day. Love, hugs, and blessings. Ashley, love, hugs, and blessings.
Bye, friends.
Virtual hug.
Yeah.
Oh, bye, everyone.